Hello, 2022 is a new year. So Sonlight is updating and rolling out several new products this year. And we are going to talk about some of these changes and some of the new items that are coming out. I am Sunny, Sonlight's community manager and a Sonlight mom of two, and I am being joined today by Rhonda. Rhonda, will you please introduce yourself and maybe share a little bit about what you do at Sonlight?
Yeah, my name is Ronda Olson. I am the product development manager. So I help make all these changes happen. So I've been with Sonlight for a number of years, and I have two small boys too that just love our Sonlight titles. So yeah.
Yes, you have test subjects right there ready and willing to try things out, don't you?
And they definitely give their opinion.
Yeah. Well, that is great. And I appreciate your being here as you're the expert on all the new things coming out. So let's start by letting everyone know what they have to look forward to. What types of new products are coming out in 2022?
Yeah, I think just in general, we always update our curriculum. We definitely look at our books each year and just to see, is this still the best book? Is this still how we want, we want our children to read? So we do evaluate all of our books and we go through and kind of swap some out sometimes, maybe if one goes out of print or we just have found a better one that would fit in there. So you will see several book changes this year and a couple of our different levels. So just look forward to those. Just some great books that are coming up. I have a couple of them here that we're adding into our curriculum that are just very exciting, and I can't wait to hear what customers think about them. I always love the comments too. Got a few more from a wide variety of genres too, so I think that'll be just really great for customers to see. So just look for all those little changes. And then we also updated several of our programs this year. One of the major ones that we were working on is pre-K. We really wanted to flesh that one out and make sure kids were ready for kindergarten and all that comes with kindergarten. So last year we had updated our preschool program, the one that was really meant for 3 and 4 year olds. And so this year we updated pre-K or pre-kindergarten, which is for 4 and 5 year olds. And we've done kind of the same things. We've added a lot of hands-on items, and we've added on a supply kit that has a lot of things that go in there. So we really added on pre-writing skills. They start learning the capital letters. They do a lot with the letter shapes and writing and getting to use that pencil and that fine motor skills that they'll need for kindergarten and the letter sounds. And we've added in pre-math. We're working in this level, we're working on numbers 11 through 30. So we started out in our preschool program working on the single digits, 0 to 10, and then we'll extend that this year so that in pre-K you learn more of those numbers and the quantities that go with that. We work a lot with the teens because those are hard to kind of understand. Well, it doesn't follow the same pattern, 20, 21, 22, it kind of follows a pattern, but 11, 12, they sound different. And so we really work a lot on those teens and just getting that number sense so that they're ready for kindergarten and the higher counting. We've added in a lot of hands-on or practical life activities. So your kids get involved in taking care of themselves, taking care of the house, preparing meals and cleaning up after themselves and having manners and just all of those things that you want your kids to develop as a well-rounded child and able to take care of themselves. So we're really looking forward to all those changes. We think customers will really like it, but they're really similar to what we've done in preschool.
Yeah, and I love that because it takes the skills you want to teach your kids, like you mentioned, all the life skills. I love that piece that sometimes you may not know how to teach that, naturally in the homeschool day. So I love that that's in there. And that kind of goes along with some changes to the IG, right? Where I think the book schedules are a little different. We're still using a lot of the same books, but that is different. Can you give us?
Yeah, we still have a lot of the same, I'm sorry, I talked over you, but we still have a lot of the same books, the same great stories. So it's still a really gentle introduction to how you're reading and, to sitting to listening to the reading and paying attention. We start out with the shorter stories and then we grow to the longer ones so their attention spans can grow over the year. And we really schedule those out. We've decided to schedule a 4-day week schedule for 36 weeks. So that will fit nicely into your schooling year and day. And we've added a Spanish book as well. We've continued with the Spanish that we started in preschool. So we have the audio sounds if you need that to kind of if you don't know Spanish, but you can hear them and continue on and learn those in your day-to-day life. But just being introduced to a new language is really good for kids at this age. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And how you mentioned it's still a gentle introduction. It's not quite as rigorous as some of the other programs, but you would definitely want to check that out if you've used our old pre-K, because I feel like all of these new updates just make it better. What about science? We have a new science package coming out this year. Can you talk a little bit about that? This is a totally new program, correct, to replace the old Science D?
It is. Science D is totally new this year. We've chosen some new books. I think maybe one is the same, but we've really chosen things that just are very cool and fun for kids and really get them excited about questioning how things work and, how can I make something happen? We're following the same pattern that we've done with the rest of our science levels. So we had K through C last year that were updated with new books and a new experiment book. And so we're doing the same thing to D this year. We've got some fun engineering and design books. That's a big thing because you get to solve a problem and tweak your experiment and see if you can change it so it works better. We talk about waves. This is one about waves and energy. Just a really good year to explore those things and in a little more concrete way. I think I brought some of the experiments, but we'll have my experiment is falling apart, but we'll have make it a magnet, an electric magnet with a battery. You test making a circuit. So we have a little light bulb here that you'll get to light up if you do it correctly. So just a lot of fun things to experiment with. We also always study a scientist. And so the featured scientist in this level is Hedy Lamarr. She is actually an actress who was also a scientist. And so just a really cool story there. And also doing some coding. So learning how to work with computers and what that entails. And you get to really, Scratch is a free program that you can use and just explore and create, and just a really fun thing to do with your kids. So it's going to be a great year for Science D.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's actually the program we'll be doing in the fall. So I told my son about some of the books that are coming out and he's super excited. And we're ready to try all that out. And correct me if I'm wrong, with the new Discover and Do experiments, they all tie in to the literature that you read all week, correct? Like it's not just a random experiment. It's something that the child's been learning about.
That's right. So all of the experiments are brand new this year for Science D. And they will tie into your topics that you've been reading about, so that you study about it, you read about it, and then you get to really get your hands into it and actually do it with the hands-on things. We do a lot of also the engineering design, which doesn't always tie with the topic, but the engineering design is just a really fun experiment thing to do with your children too. So yeah, all new this year. That's going to be great.
Fun. Yeah. And let's talk about some of the updates. You mentioned updated books in various levels. I know level D and one of the high school levels, 320, have some new books. Can you tell us a little bit about what types of books are new, maybe what the process looks like in changing those out, or why we may have done that?
Right. This year we just decided to update level D. It seemed like a good place to start. We really wanted to evaluate each of the books to make sure they were still relevant and the best of the best. And so we've gone through level D and really looked at each of the books in that level. And it's American history, it's early American history, and we really wanted to present that in the best way possible. So we've reevaluated all of the books and looked through them, grabbed some of them a second. And we've added in quite a few just new topics. And reevaluated how we've done all of them. So here's one about the Alamo. Here's one when the White House was burning. We're talking about King George, and just more things to make sure that we're touching on the topics of that time period. Exploring Native American cultures. This is a fun one that has some hands-on activities included in it that your student can do, but you're just really learning about the culture there. And Daniel Boone. So we've gone through all of the books, reevaluated them. And this is a fourth grade program, and we really wanted to match the fourth grade skill level with that. So we've actually, this was the only level that did have advanced and regular readers in the reader and LA programs. And we've actually removed that this year. We feel as fourth graders, they're very solid in what they're reading. And so we'll have one reading program for this level.
So for people that have questions about that, then like maybe they have an old level D, that they used with a child that was, in third grade previously before we had some of our current levels, would you recommend now that the age range, maybe because it's a little bit older, that it might be a harder program, and that even though we've removed the advanced readers, that those readers are more in line with what our advanced readers were before? Should somebody maybe push their child a little bit older before they use this program?
It's still, I don't remember the age range, but it still fits right in with that same age range that we've had for fourth grade. It does follow more of the advanced schedule. And so we do have more books than the regular readers did. So if your child is maybe on the fence and you might use a different program, or if they're, a little bit younger, you might want to go with a different program, but this is still great a great introduction to American history.
Well, perfect. Yeah. And what about 320? I know there's less book changes in 320, but we do have kind of a big one in that level. So what's going on with that one?
Right. We found this brand new spine for this level. The spine is the main one that goes through the entire year and that you kind of study throughout your year. We found this great new book that talks about modern history. So this level is the 20th century, where we only talk about world history in the last century. And so this is full of beautiful colored pictures, and really touches on all of the main events of the 20th century, and really goes in detail. They've got great timelines to show you how things are building. They talk about different elements of the 20th century. We've got things about how the different cars or how technology has changed over the century. But we just love this one. It's very engaging. It's got just large pictures and some very just well done items. And so this is our new spine for this year. So we're changing the whole schedule, and we're adding in a couple books too. We're adding in 2 books, one about Winston Churchill, and then one about Chernobyl as well. So that was another main event in the 20th century and kind of impacts how we do things now. So a lot of those books are still staying the same, but we're just having a new spine, and we have these new books added into it. So we really think this will be a program that our Sonlight families love. It feels like a Sonlight program. It has the engaging photos and the really interesting storylines. So.
I love that. Yeah. And then we also have a few other like supplementary products that aren't necessarily school that you have to do, as part of your HBL, science, language arts, any of that. But we are coming out with a Sonlight homeschool planner this year, which I think is something people will be very excited about. It's fully customizable and similar to our IGs, in that you can put it right there in your binder and keep track of your whole life while you're doing school at the same time. So that is great. So you'll definitely want to check that out if you are a planner person. Then we also are coming out with some new unit studies. So those are going to be coming out kind of throughout the year. So keep an eye on the Sonlight website to see what's coming up there. If you've used any of our Sonlight unit studies, they can be used as a supplement to any program really, but especially those elementary and middle school years. And then on our new website that came out back in December, we have added a new ASP bundler feature where you can customize an all subjects package. So when you are ordering, if you want to customize your all subjects package a little differently than how we have it advertised on the site, that is something you can kind of modify in your own family. So those are some of the new things coming out. Rhonda, I appreciate you sharing all of this information. All the new products we talked about will be available starting on March 31st. And then keep an eye on the website for any further updates.